20 years on this savanna. I thought I had seen everything. I was wrong. The afternoon sun was painting the grasslands gold when something white flashed across the dirt road. I slammed the brakes. Red dust exploded around the car. When it settled, there it was, a white lion cub. But something was terribly wrong. A metal hubcap was wedged tight around his neck. The fur beneath it was raw. Every breath came out as a thin, painful wheeze. He had been suffocating slowly for weeks. My name is Malik. I have been a ranger in the savanna for over 20 years. I have carried animals in my arms and faced predators in the dark. But what was standing in front of my car that afternoon was different. This was a creature begging the world for one more chance to breathe. And it was our world that did this to him. Our metal, our trash, left behind for the innocent to carry. I stepped out slowly. Any wild animal should run from a human. But this cub walked toward me, shaking, struggling under the weight of metal. Then he did something I will never forget. He pressed his small head against my knee and closed his eyes. In that gesture was everything: fear, exhaustion, and trust. Complete, desperate trust in a stranger. I worked carefully around the hubcap. The metal finally gave way and hit the ground. The cub inhaled deeply. His whole body shuddered. The first full breath in weeks. He was free. He should have vanished into the tall grass, but he grabbed the edge of my pants and pulled. Looked toward the savanna and cried. Looked back at me, cried again. He wanted me to follow. A cub this young is never alone. The mother should be nearby, but she was nowhere. Something had happened, and this little one had come looking for help. I looked into his amber eyes and nodded, a silent promise. He turned and started walking. After a few steps, he looked back to make sure I was following. I was. We moved through golden grasslands past scattered acacias under the heavy afternoon sun. The cub walked ahead with purpose, but after nearly an hour, his steps slowed, his legs trembled. Then he collapsed, just dropped to the ground. Shallow breathing, eyes half closed. Weeks with that hubcap had kept him from eating or drinking properly. His body had nothing left. I poured water from my canteen into my hand. He lapped desperately, but water was not enough. I dissolved emergency rations and offered them in my palm. He ate weakly. And then I faced a choice. If I stayed and nursed him back to strength, I could lose his mother's trail completely. The sun was moving. The tracks would fade. But if I pushed forward and the cub could not keep up, I would lose him too. Two lives pulling me in different directions. I could not save both by playing it safe. I chose to carry them both, not in logic, in faith. I lifted him and held him against my chest. His small heart raced against mine. There is something that changes inside you when you carry a life in your arms. The world narrows to one heartbeat pressed against yours. Nothing else matters. We reached an open plain, and I froze. A herd of Cape buffalo blocked our path. Massive bodies, curved horns, eyes locked on us. Cape buffalo end more lives each year than lions, and they had just caught the scent of a lion cub in my arms. The lead bull stamped the ground. The herd stirred, horns rose. Then the bull lowered his head and began walking toward us. Slow, heavy, each step shaking the earth beneath my feet. 2 tons of muscle and horn coming straight at me. Behind him, the others followed, a wall of black mass closing in. I felt the cub tremble against my chest. His small claws dug into my shirt. I could not run, could not retreat. My legs would not move, even if I wanted them to. I held the cub tighter and prepared for impact. Then a female, standing with her own calf beside her, stepped forward. She moved between us and the bull, stood still. The bull stopped. She stared at him for a long, silent moment. Then she slowly turned aside. Her calf followed. The bull snorted but held his ground. One by one, the others shifted. A corridor opened through the herd. I walked through it, heart hammering, hands shaking. Maybe a mother recognized another baby in danger. Maybe this savanna has rules of mercy we will never understand. The sky turned dark. Storm clouds rolled in and swallowed the sun. That is when I realized the cub had been following his mother's paw prints in the red earth the entire time. The rain hit hard. Within minutes, the tracks dissolved into mud. Gone. 20 years became my only guide. Broken branches at a lioness's height. Claw marks on bark. Instinct. But the signs were faint, and the rain was not stopping. For the first time that day, I felt it. Doubt. The kind that whispers you are not enough, that you started something you cannot finish, that this cub trusted the wrong person. The cub grew restless in my arms. He sniffed the air and suddenly cried out, not like before. This cry had recognition. He sensed something. The rain eased. Twilight broke through the clouds. A rocky formation appeared ahead. I set him down. He ran, limping, weak, but nothing was going to stop him. Nothing in 20 years prepared me for what I found beyond those rocks. At the edge of a ravine, I looked down. A large white shape lay on its side among thorny bushes. Still, a white lioness. His mother, tangled in farming fence wire left by ranchers pushing into conservation land. The wire had cut into her leg and flank. White fur stained dark, skin swollen with infection. Only the faint rise and fall of her chest told me she was still here. The cub bolted down the rocks, reached her, pressed his entire body against hers. She lifted her head with her last strength and licked him. Once, just once. All she had left. One lick. And in that gesture lived everything a mother could never say. The hubcap, the wire, the fence, all ours. All human. She got caught in our mess, and her cub walked into the savanna half suffocating to bring back the only help he could find. The infection was spreading through her body. She would not survive the night. I grabbed my radio. Rescue team, this is Malik. White lioness trapped in fencing wire. Severe infection. Sending coordinates. The radio crackled back. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I looked at the shadows stretching across the ravine. An eternity. I climbed down and worked the wire free piece by piece. Her leg came loose, but she could not stand. She needed the veterinary team.